Welcome to the podcast. So, I'm just sitting here thinking today, and I just wanted to share with women out there in the world. I'm getting ready, I'm fixing my hair, and I'm listening to Mel Robbins' podcast. And I've been doing this for quite a while now, a couple months. And, I love her because, first of all, she just speaks her mind and she has like no filter, which I love. And it makes me laugh because, she kind of throws out, like, this is a bunch of shit. And just things like that, which cracks me up. I have been a woman in business for over 30 years. I am very comfortable in the corporate world. I just started a podcast, which I'm not so comfortable with, but I am into it'll be my third episode tomorrow. And the reason I'm getting on here is because I was sitting here, on my first podcast, I made this comment about Joe Rogan. And I said, maybe I'll be the next Joe Rogan. And, and I had Tommy Carlos, he's a Nashville singer songwriter on, and he said, yeah, you never know. And I started thinking about that this morning while I'm blow drying my hair. I was sitting here thinking, um, first of all, I was listening to Mel Robbins and I pulled this, I'm looking down at my computer and I pulled this up and this is what my screen looked like. And it says 3 lessons from the hardest. I don't even know what that was about. But it said Mel Robbins, 2.3 million views. And then it had Joe Rogan, 1.1 million views. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why do I want to be the next Joe Rogan? And, I've been the only woman on the senior leadership team for, I think it was over 24 years, something like that. I mean, give or take, there were different women came and went, but primarily I was the only woman. And I'm sitting here thinking, why do I want to be the next Joe Rogan? Like, screw that. I want to be the next Mel Robbins, or maybe I don't want to be the next Mel Robbins. Maybe I just want to be Melissa Georgeoff and speak some truth into the world. So I don't know what woman needs to hear this today, but why are we always comparing ourselves, or why are we always thinking that the men have it all figured out, and that somehow they're more powerful than we are? I don't know, and it makes me sit here and think, like, if I think this, and I'm starting a podcast, been in business for many, many years. It's like, what are the limited beliefs that other women have out there about themselves? And I sat here and thought, I started my own podcast and I'm not even out there talking to women right now. And one of my biggest goals was to not only create visibility for people with disabilities, but it was also to create visibility for women in business and help other women in their career. The other thing was, I'm passionate about singer-songwriters and the songs, or the stories behind the songs. And then I wanted to talk about my faith. But honestly, I have not even started to do any of those things yet. Like, I haven't got on here to talk about my faith, or I haven't gone on here to talk to other women. I have 30 plus years of business, and I have, and being the only woman on the senior leadership team for many, many years, and, learning from a leadership coach. And I have all these little tidbits that I learn every day from Mel Robbins. I never had a woman mentor or coach really. Growing up, I learned from the CEO of or from the business that I was a part of. And I sit here and think, it's sad that we don't have more women. And I know we do. I know there's a ton of women out there. But, I wonder, do we always get our advice from, a man? Like, why aren't there more women mentors out there and women coaches? So I don't know where this is going necessarily, but I wanted to start to get more comfortable on camera. And even though that I've done this for my job here or there, I've talked in front of thousands of people, I have not really got on camera just to start talking. And I think, Mel Robbins has really inspired me because she just is really to the point. She has a lot of great information. She has a lot of awesome guests on the show. And that's what I hope to accomplish. Is I just want to let other women know that you guys can do it too. I don't have it all together. And I've heard this before, is that people, when they, I guess, look at me, think that I do, but I don't. I can assure you that I have been through hell and back through business and some really tough lessons. I did not come from money. I was poor growing up. I lived in a little bitty house with wood paneling on the walls. And when it rained, I always tell people, well, I haven't told a lot of people this, but I have started to, is that when it rained, I got my bucket out. So I had like 5 buckets in my room because we could not afford to fix the roof. And so I would get like 5 of these different buckets out and it would like rain down my bookshelf. And honestly, I didn't even know that we were poor. I thought that, everyone did this. Um, the reason I'm telling you this is not because I guess the only reason I'm telling you this is because growing up, I had limited beliefs. I thought that you had to come from money in order to be something. I thought I was going to be a secretary or maybe a flight attendant. And things that I knew you didn't have to have a college degree to do. And my parents couldn't afford college. So I put myself through, 2 years and then, went to some night classes and online classes. But I was ashamed of that too. But the reason I'm telling you all of this is that I want kids and to know that are growing up, you don't have to come from money, just because maybe it's your, no matter what your circumstances are or what your history is, you don't have to come from money to be successful in life. And, the reason I have been successful, I believe, is through a lot of hard work and a lot of little baby steps. Just like the podcast that I started, it was not a matter of this happened overnight. And it's still new, but it's just taking tiny, tiny baby steps to continually improve and grow yourself. And that's what I felt like. I wanted a creative way to continue to do the things that I'm passionate about. And that's why I started the podcast. And I can tell you, I was super nervous to do it. I wasn't for sure that, I could. And even right now doing this video, I mean, I'm nervous about doing the video. So I just want to be super transparent and authentic with people out there that are watching this right now, that I want you to know that no matter your circumstances, no matter your history, believe in yourself and believe what God says about us. Because I would not have ever, a small town country girl from Bethalto, Illinois, would never have thought that I could be successful or advocate for people with disabilities or start a podcast or whatever. I never thought that I would be able to do this. And through a lot of prayer every day, it just continues to allow me to do what God has put in my heart to do. So I don't know. I just thought that I'd get on here and overcome some of my own fears and put this video out. So I hope that it resonates with some of you women. And I guess this all kind of transpired from me watching a Mel Robbins podcast. But, in the world of Mel Robbins, or I guess in the world of Joe Rogan's, be a Mel Robbins. So anyway, if you like what you're hearing, follow me on my See the Unseen page. I just started a podcast, so I've done 2 interviews, and the next interview is tomorrow with a really special guest. Her name's Sarah Hardwig, and I'm so looking forward to interviewing her. She's a Nashville singer-songwriter. She's performed over the national anthem over 200 times, and she's blind. She is going to be amazing. So anyway, that's all I got to say, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.